Welcome back to Medical Experts in Football. I'm Taiwo Adeshigman, your host. Today's guest works as a PT and strength and conditioning specialist with Legia Warsaw, the highest football league in Poland. He previously worked as a physio and performance coach at the Shanghai Research Institute. And he said food in China can be a bit too much. From our conversation, it seems you can eat nearly every living creature there. That's crazy, right? But what's crazier is that this Polish PT can go nearly 3 days without sleeping in his own bed. I welcome you, Bartosz Kot.
Okay, well, before we talk about your actual work with strength and condition and physical therapy, I wanted to learn a little bit more about Poland. So you were born in Warsaw, Poland, is that correct?
No, I born in Lubartów, it's a small city in the Lubelski state, east part of Poland.
Well, describe what that town is like and what is one of the most fondest memories you have in that city.
The funniest memories, it's from my football club. We create the club with my friends. We create the club and we play football there. And we start in the lowest league, and we had promotion to the higher league.
So if someone were to visit Poland, what are some places that you would recommend them to see?
For sure, if you would like to come, I would recommend that you Warsaw, Krakow. We have nice mountains and sea area also, like Gdańsk and Sopot and Zakopane. So this is like a mountain part. So also Mazury, it's a very nice area, and you can see a lot of lakes, nice views, and you can practice canoeing and sailing.
So correct me if I'm wrong, is it rye and potato that's like y'all's type of food?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, I gotta hear, what is a dessert and then say an entree meal that one should eat when they're in Poland?
Apple pie.
Apple pie, really?
Yeah.
What's the best meal out there?
You should try dumplings and bagels.
Can you elaborate on that?
Dumplings, and we have a lot of dumplings. The choice of dumplings is like huge. You can go to like Old Town in Warsaw and you can find a lot of different types of dumplings with everything, even the sweet with strawberries, blueberries.
Oh, wow.
Different way, different taste, and I think it's like the most typical food, and you need to try this. And bagels, I don't know how to say in English, but with sausages.
Yeah. Sausage, yes. Every European I've talked to, they all eat sausage. I don't know what it is about y'all sausages, but you guys swear it's so good.
In Germany, I think.
Yeah, in German. Yeah. Sorry, out here in the States, there's not there's sausage, but everyone doesn't just eat sausage. They got bacon, they got other stuff, ribs, chicken. I am really curious. How did you first get involved in physical therapy?
So all my life, I'm interested in football, soccer. So I played football, and then when I played, I started to be better and better, and I started interested in more in strength conditioning part, and then with some kind of injuries, more interested in that kind of field of problems. Yes, and this is from football to physical therapy and strength conditioning part of training.
So you were a footballer, and you still are. What position did you play?
When I was younger, I played like a striker because I quite tall, 192. Then I was center defender, and now I play on the small pitches, and I'm like a striker more.
Why did you switch to small pitches? Is it that you're getting older and just more out of shape, or what's up with that?
Exactly. When I'm older, I can run. So.
Well, I know that you are the physical therapist now for Legia Warsaw. You've been there since February of 2020. That's the highest league in Poland. What was the transition like working for the team? Because prior to that, you were doing a lot of work in China, which we'll get to. But what was the process like getting now involved with that first level team?
So when I came back, it was 2019, I think December, and I started work for Legia in 2020. Yeah, it was hard in the beginning, but I applied. I had some connection with the doctors, and we worked before with the volleyball team in the also in the highest league in Poland. I knew from the one course, I knew that there will be changing in the club, and Yeah, I applied and I present how I can help the club, how can I improve the medical care, and yeah, I came to Legia.
So once you applied, what's the process like? Is it more of like an interview where they kind of give you scenarios that they want you to solve through and then you get feedback? What's it like?
We have the first meeting and we talk like very generally about the work, how looks the system, what they need, what they expect, and then I prepare some presentation. A big part of my presentation was how can I improve the work, what we can change, and how we can be better in RTP or RTS to come back to sport for injury players.
So you said that initially it was a little hard. What was so hard about it from the start? Was it the just whole transition, new team? What did you experience?
The situation was totally different than in China. There was some difficulties in China, but also some difficulties in Poland. It was difficult to adapt to change because I
Mhm.
adapt to the Chinese system, and the good point of the work there was like a connection with the coaches from the around the world. That I could talk with them, I can explain my point of view, and they explain their point of view.
Mhm.
So a lot of different concept methods, also in the physio and in the training. And in Poland, I saw like one way. I saw from a few points that we could improve a lot.
Mhm.
Using this experience from abroad, we can improve it a lot.
Yeah. What's a week like for you? Say if you're in season.
Now it's difficult because we play in Europe League. Like we have some European qualification to Champions League. So we just came back from Zagreb.
Mhm.
Zagreb, we play there in Dinamo, and we have another game on Tuesday. So it's every 3 days we play something. It's quite hard for us,
Mhm.
and difficult to say how it looks because sometimes we come to work and we start like 8 o'clock. We have some meeting in the beginning. We talk about the players, injury players, about problematic players, what we can improve before game, how we can improve their health generally, how to implement prevention. Because in this short time, it's difficult to implement anything.
Yeah. When does your day end?
It depends because now 3 days I haven't been at home, so
You haven't been at home for 3 days?
yeah, I came to work like a Monday and we came back Thursday from
Wait,
Zagreb.
wait. So let me clarify this for our listeners. So you go and travel, and sometimes you go straight to work and you don't actually go home.
Yeah, we have new facilities in the club now where we work 30 kilometers from my place, and I came there and I slept in place, and then we catch the flight and then we came to Zagreb. So 3 days, no home and no came back home.
Okay. That's so interesting. How do you like that? Like how do you like the fast-paced environment?
Yes, I like this. Sometimes it's very I'm exhausted, so it's biggest problem. But I like this if something is going around, so I like it. It's not
Yeah.
boring for sure.
But how do you still kind of manage your overall well-being, making sure that you're not feeling too exhausted? What do you do? I know you said you play soccer. That probably helps to get your mind off of that. But what other strategies?
Strategies like a good rest, but I like reading the books and I do some courses also. Like I know that's like a maybe too much because all the time it's education, work education, and it's sometimes
Mhm.
too much. So I'm trying to change like books on different subjects, psychology or something not connected with the sport and the football and soccer.
So I know you said that sometimes you are on the road every 3 days or so. Is there a day that you ever have no work, or is this probably 7 days a week?
Today is a free day, so I'm happy that I have a free day now.
Oh, today's a free day. I'm so glad I caught you on a free day. So you at least sometimes have one day away from the facility.
Yeah, it was possible before when we didn't play in like a open qualification, but now it's hard. So if it's one day rest, it is very good. So yeah, I appreciate this
Mhm.
a lot.
Before you had days off when you weren't playing for qualification. Qualification is the Champions League, right?
Yeah,
Now, looking back, because I know you haven't been in the club for many years, but you've been there long enough to have shared some experiences. What has been one of the most exciting games that you've been a part of?
I remember maybe not one game, but I remember the time that we play very good, and I was I could bet that we win everything like easy, but then after COVID, we came back to season, came back to matches, and then looked like totally different. I was very surprised that in the short time we look totally different. And after COVID time, we look almost the same, and we couldn't create a situation very hard to understand and manage this also.
Now, I'm curious, when the team isn't doing well, do you ever worry whether that may affect your job, or do you feel like how you perform as a clinician is completely separate from truly the team's overall record in the leagues?
I try all the time ask our psychologist guy how we can improve something and how it like a mental part of well-being can influence our like it's like a puzzles. We try to work together and because what I observe it's like sometimes the players they have a lot of injuries when they not feel good in the club. And then, like they have one injury, they try to come back, and there's another injury. And from the physio side, it looks like okay, he should play, no problem. Now it's everything is clear, and they came back with the problem another time. Sometimes it's connected with the time. Sometimes what they propose in the club, we should use more observation of general observation of the player, not only like parameters from biomechanical parameters, but also how they feel, how because there's all the problems like from home. Maybe the kid, the baby, they can't sleep and they are tired. Yes, and other more problems like a wife is outside of the country, pregnancy wife outside of the country. A lot of like family problems that could have influence of the player and they predisposition to injury.
Yeah. Now, as a clinician, you said that observing to see some of these things during trainings can help you get an idea. Once you have an idea that maybe a player maybe has some outside issues, how do you communicate or perhaps help that player get through that or provide them? I mean, obviously you guys have the great resources, you have a full medical staff. What's the conversation like or the interventions that you may implement?
Yeah, I try to support the players, but also I try to speak to the psychologist, what I told you, and also we discuss this with the whole medical group, and also give some information for the coach. So, like communication is very important because sometimes we shouldn't push the athlete too much because they're not ready for this.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you find that athletes are now more willing to speak to a psychologist, or do you think that for professional athletes, it's still something that they shy away from?
We also discuss this problem like my kind of way is like to propose like a marketing guy. You need to present something what you can do because some artists they don't know how what can take from you, what can achieve from your treatment. So we need to present something and show them what we can improve for mental part, for biomechanics part, prevention. Very important things and
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think obviously with anything, like you said, biomechanics, obviously the psychological aspect, being able to show them how it can benefit. Now, you were new to the team in 2020, and I'm curious also how did you build a rapport with the players? Because from what I've heard is that a lot of professional athletes, they don't just open up to any provider coming into their space. What helped you kind of build that rapport to get to know the players and them build comfort in you providing treatment for them?
well, in our team, we have like a specific sense of humor. So
Oh.
you need to use. We have like a captain. He's a very big joker, and
Uh-huh.
I'm checking, especially new members of the team.
Oh.
So you need to feel this sense of humor.
So do
Little
you
bit.
have to study and figure out that sense of humor too, or is that just a Polish thing?
No, I came and I saw how it looks, how they treat another people, and after 1 2 years, I know more or less because we have another new members, and I
Ah.
observed it, how it works. And
Yeah. So
it's
would you
funny,
describe
but
it to be like more of like a dry sense of humor, sarcasm, or what's it like?
sometimes I feel like a kindergarten. It's like it's okay, funny, but yeah,
That's awesome. Wow, that's very interesting.
yeah. But this is some kind of like a also relaxation that whole group feel much better. It's like for me, it looks like
Yeah.
not so funny, but sometimes the way how it presented it,
Yeah.
it's the most important and all like dressing room is in the fun.
And it sounds like They try to dose a fine balance of just having a good time despite being in such a high pressure situation. For you personally, how important does that sense of humor, even as a clinician, help you with your job?
I try to be serious, but sometimes it's impossible. This kind of guys, it's like you need to go with them. Yeah, this is the way, like, and how you can manage this.
So you talked about how because you are on the road so much that you can implement a little bit of treatment, but it's a quick turnaround. What are some things that you think about and how do you actually implement some of these treatments within such a short time period for these athletes?
But we created some group that one physio is responsible for a few players. So I try to observe the parameters from the game, like the total distance and high speed and everything this kind of way. Find the players. I try to find the players that they need the most and my support and try to work with them.
So in that case, you may not always see every player that has a problem, or is that not correct?
Every player has a problem, but also very important for me is like a priority with who I should work because sometimes it was before I spent a lot of time with the players that they didn't play. Of course, coach expect that you will play, focus on the player that the most important. It's hard, but because you need to make decision and
Yeah.
sometimes you don't have too much time to work with everyone on the same level. Yesterday, I had two players that they didn't play too much. They all the time train, but also they need help and they need a lot of help. They are also like high risk players. Also, this hierarchy exists in the team. Like if you are a younger player, you will not come to physio too often. Like an older one, they will say,
Yeah.
okay, sorry, I in your age, I haven't seen you anymore.
Okay, well, before I get to the actual work in China, I saw also that you own your own practice. Are you still
Yeah,
managing
yeah.
your own
Mhm.
practice?
Yes, I try to do this, but mostly I try to focus on the work in the club to be like a good specialist. I try to read more and try to find a way how to improve like protocols.
So it's only when you have some free time to then do that stuff. It's not like you're working for your own business if you're traveling all the time.
Yeah, it's also hard, but sometimes I have a lot of questions about what the treatment or the diagnosis, like some consultation, but try to help all my close friends.
You're Polish, but you spent extensive time in China. You worked different jobs, but specifically, you worked with the Shanghai Research Institute of Sports Science, leading the strength and conditioning and injury prevention. You did a lot of work there. What was the transition like going from Poland to China as a therapist? Did you have to get additional certifications?
No, I only use some kind of approve of my certification, like my diplomas from Poland.
Hmm.
The biggest problem for me in the beginning was like the strength conditioning part, and I spent a lot of time like at night reading and watching more and more about this because also I have a lot of questions from leaders from the center, sports center, how we can improve prevention of injury and also how we can improve the trainings to give them like a strength conditioning part and support the players in that kind of way. So not only physio but more strength conditioning. So I think it was the biggest development for me in this kind of area.
Now, in the States here, we have to get our doctorate degree, and we don't really go through a whole lot of strength and conditioning specific implementation. We have obviously the strength and conditioning certification. In Poland, do you feel like your schooling prepared you for the strength and conditioning aspect of rehab?
No, I think that like this is also the biggest gap,
Hmm.
education for especially for the coaches in future can be good area to improve because I know some coaches, very good coaches, they came from physio. In my countries, we don't have like a specific education for coach,
Hmm.
but they came from physio side. They finish physiotherapy. They finish courses like Exos, Altis. Also, we have now Elite Performance Institute school. I finished this education way. This is maybe not enough time, but still give you like a good beginning to improve, good background to start to develop yourself in this kind of field.
Now, you mentioned that you took courses, and I imagine that there are going to be some listeners, they are coming from PT school and maybe they want to work with high performance athletes and they want to specifically make sure they get involved in that kind of injury prevention. Just from your experience, your knowledge that you've obtained over the years, what are some just important considerations that can help a clinician when it comes to the whole strength and conditioning and injury prevention that they should be mindful of?
I finished one course from Tim Gabbett.
Yeah, Tim
Uh,
Gavitt. He was on my podcast too.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a very clever guy, and I love this. I met him like maybe 6 years ago in Poznan, I think.
Oh,
In
nice.
the course, and I start like developing this kind of subject. And maybe 1 year ago, I finished the course from Barcelona, and he was the main presenter there. And I think this is like a very important part of physio and also strength conditioning coaches to monitoring the load. More than 50% that you can influence on your player prevent injury. My idea when I came to the club was okay to present this kind of project based on the Tim Gabbett research,
Mm-hmm.
and use this the same way how he observed and monitoring the load during the training to physio session after injury to have some data to check when the player should come back. It's not too early, it's not too fast. Maybe we should be more optimize the process and push him harder. The most important is to have data and try to observe also how they feel, what we said, like a mental part, how they react, what is the inner response of the body and external role, and put it together like a puzzle. And then you can create like a good way. And even if it doesn't work, look on this what you create before and try to find the conclusions. What was wrong? What is good?
Yeah.
Next time, not take the same mistakes.
Yeah, and on a note of mistakes, I'm really curious throughout your entire career because you've been practicing now for, I mean, you got your PT degree in 2008, so for quite some time. Throughout that whole experience, I'm curious, have you ever found yourself in a situation where maybe you progressed a patient, their load maybe too far, and maybe coaches or team wasn't happy? If so, what was the conversation like with the team? And then what did you do to remediate that situation and ensure that it wouldn't happen again?
In China, we have a lot of this kind of situation.
Oh, really?
The athlete will be ready next day, and it was impossible to prepare the athlete in 1 day or in 2 days. But it's also depending on the coach who decided about it. I think that sometimes it's hard because you know that it will not work. You need to do this, but you feel that it's too much, and sometimes I feel bad with this. But sometimes we push the athlete, and what we can do, we can only present the athlete the way and what how we can help him. And finally, it's harder because he will come back
Yeah.
to the.
So when that has happened, what's the conversation like? Is it just like telling the coach, "Hey, we'll bring it down"? Like what extra measures need to be taken within whatever organization, the team in China?
On the beginning, it was very hard for me. I was angry and I didn't know how to present this. It was also culture difference.
Hmm.
Because that sometimes you cannot tell everything like directly. You need to present this like a very soft way and proper language. Take your emotion like on the back. It was hard, but yeah. Then after 3 years, I knew that I came to coach and said I can help you if you want. I can do this. This it's my way. And if you want, you can take it. But if you don't want,
Yeah.
it's your decision, and you can do what you want.
Now you mentioned something that I want to dig a little deeper when you're saying that sometimes you need to go in a or communicate in a soft way, not so much in a hard way. What does that look like?
My experience is that sometimes if you tell something directly in China, they can treat this like loss of place.
Mm,
It's like cultural difference that be honest too much sometimes is not a good way. I try to speak in a different way. I also observe my friend who said sometimes too much, too directly. He was very honest and a very direct guy. And
So for those working in other countries, I mean, it sounds like understanding the culture itself is also part of just trying to be a good clinician and work best with whatever organization that you are with. Would you agree with that?
yes, I think that this kind of experience in China, they develop me not only like a clinician, but also like a person. That you know how to manage the problem. You know how to talk, how to use not only the how to say hard skills, but also like the soft skills. How to talk,
Mhm.
how to find different way of solutions in the treatment, in the training, because you can see, you can talk with the coaches, you can see how they use their concept, and maybe you can feel also that maybe your concept that you feel that it was the best one, and the most effective. Maybe it's not only the one way. A few months ago, I came on another course and I thought that I know everything. And then you see that maybe it's not everything. You can find another puzzle, another point that can help you. Maybe not like a one solution, but this one point of treatment or method can support your treatment and will be not fully effective.
So you were in China for quite some years. So despite the differences regarding to communication, the way maybe some treatment was done, there had to have been something that you liked. I know that I want to also ask about the food. Like, what were some things you liked about that country, and what was a favorite food of yours that you enjoyed eating?
I wasn't a big fan of the Chinese food, but sometimes I could find really good food and Chinese food. Generally, I try to come back to like a similar food like I had in Poland.
Oh, is it because Poland's more healthier?
In China, you can see a lot of kind of food, like a different one from everything. Sometimes I was joking that some everything would move, you can eat it, or you can
Oh,
eat everything what is exists to eat. It is possible to eat. So
yeah.
it's like
But
big
Poland food is still your food to go. Your the food
yeah,
that you
yeah. Sometimes
it
it's good to try something new, but sometimes was too much.
So you obtained your FIFA sports medicine certification last year. How long did that take and why did you feel the need to get that?
Yeah, it was a long time because I started in China, so it was a very long time. It was like some kind of feeling that I had more time in China when I worked like for this institute, sport institute in Shanghai.
Mhm.
So when I came back from the work, I started listening more. I was looking some new knowledge, new development way, and I start from this. And every day I try to do one module, one part, and some kind of limit what I should do.
Mhm.
And then when I came to Poland, I stopped. A few months ago, I decided to finish this because it was too long time to do nothing through this kind of education way.
It took you years because you kind of stopped.
Yeah,
But say if someone were to go straight through it, is it something that could take a year or so, or would it be still at least 2 years or so?
I think it's possible. Maybe 1 month, 3 months that you
Oh,
can do this, but you can take the. You should find a limit. Like I try to find 1 hour before my work and 1 hour after my work. In this kind of way, in organization, you can finish maybe during 2, 3 months.
what has been the biggest takeaway from the certification?
Yeah, I think that the biggest plus from this is like that communication with the doctor is better because I understand like I see more option how we can examine it, how we can communicate with the doctors, how we can give another additional examination. Yeah, another point of view in problems like pelvic problem, adductors problem, muscle injuries, and another things that you can add to your practice to assess and to know better and to explain better to athletes.
So, for a clinician that wants to eventually work specifically in the soccer professional setting, would you recommend that course?
Yes, I think that is like basic. You should know this. Yeah, to communicate, to examine, to explain, and like the basic.
How can young clinicians foster that learning to hopefully one day work in a professional setting?
Constantly development of yourself, of your knowledge and your skills. But I think that the basic, from my point of view, it's like be good observator, and
Mhm.
this is like also what I learned from Team Gavet. Observe, even if you have only paper and your pen, write something and try to collect and observe another time and measure basic things. If you are a good observator, like a coach, strength conditioning coach, even a physio, because if you see that something, your intervention change something, maybe you can use this in the future, or maybe you can, if it doesn't work, you can. So try to be good in observation, even look on the details, and yeah, be the most focus on this.
Well, awesome. I'm sure many of the listeners will get a lot of good stuff out of this one.
Thank you, pleasure for me too. And I'm waiting on you in Poland. You need to try dumplings and visit the Warsaw.
Dumplings and Warsaw. Okay, I'm gonna try the strawberry dumplings when I
Yeah.
get there. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to Medical Experts in Football. That was Polish PT Bartosz Kot. Download, rate, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.